Today we're going to be looking at our top 3 terrain-capable daily-use models on the current market. I specify daily use because as off-road capable as these models are, they're still of course outperformed by 3-wheel fixed-wheel jogging strollers and heavy-duty chariots, which are built solely for jogging or traversing rough terrain, but which are also generally impractical for other aspects of stroller use. The 3 models that we're going to cover today can tackle rough terrain, and I mean real rough terrain, not just cobblestones and gravel and manicured parks. But they'll also function comfortably in urban environments, as well as fold down small enough to use with a car, provided it has some decent trunk space, and can be carried up and down stairs when needed. Note that they haven't been rated in any particular order, and each model brings its own unique set of advantages to the table. Before we get started, I'd also like to say that we do not sell strollers, nor do we earn money for our recommendations. Our qualifications for making these recommendations are based on a decade's experience of repairing strollers for private consumers and distributors, as well as big brand manufacturers. Okay, let's get started. The first model we're going to talk about is the Milunga NXT 90. Milunga has been around for a long time, and while their roots are with 4-wheel fixed-wheel models, they've been working to modernize their designs for years. And while most of their swivel wheel models in the past have really only been okay at best, in my opinion, the NXT series has been really good, with the NXT 90 as the crown jewel, an oversized luxury liner with reinforced joints and mechanisms built to really get over stuff, to take a heavy beating for years and still be just as usable. As with most oversized Cadillac-type strollers, the seat, bassinet, and shopping basket on the NXT 90 are all a bit roomier than one generally finds on smaller models. Beyond these factors, though, the seat itself is not really that special. The textiles are well padded and durable, but beyond this, there's none of the elegant stitch work that one finds on a lot of other Milunga models. In my mind, that's because all the stylistic frills they're known for with their more classic models are not the point with the NXT range. No, the real advantages of the NXT 90 are all mechanical. Large wheels, excellent suspension, and simple heavy-duty bars and mechanisms, many of which, such as the brake bar, have gone through a plethora of redesigns over the years on other models. With its swivel front wheels and decently sized basket, the NXT 90 will function well in urban environments as well, but its chief advantage is found on rougher terrain, where it is really the only reversible seat 4-wheel swivel wheel model capable of surviving regular use in rugged environments, where one would generally only take 3-wheelers without sustaining heavy wear. The trade-off for this, though, is that it is heavy. The NXT 90 weighs 16 kilos, which is an advantage when you're trying to push it through snow or over roots and rocks, but of course not when you need to fold and carry it. For that reason, the NXT 90 will fit best for you if you live somewhere rural or traverse relatively bumpy terrain daily. If you plan to use your stroller without a car for long periods at a time, or if you live somewhere where snow is a big factor. Our second stroller is the Stokke Trails. The Stokke Trails is also a Cadillac-type stroller, like the Milunga NXT 90, but with its emphasis shifted slightly away from rugged off-road performance towards luxury and ease of use. The Trails is a special model for us, as it was the model that was here to take the place of the Bugaboo Buffalo, the first oversized 4-wheel swivel wheel model to be seen in any real numbers here in Norway, where it seemed to so perfectly fit our rugged northern conditions. And the Trails, at least from a luxury point of view, has come to arguably even surpass what the Buffalo was. There are several elements that contribute to the luxurious feel of the Trails, from its simple intuitive mechanisms to the quality of its textiles on both the seat and especially the bassinet. But the number one factor in the luxury feeling of the Trails really comes from a combination of 2 characteristics: its spacious and very accessible shopping basket and the high-positioned connection point for the seat or bassinet. Stokke has been running the highest child position on the market since they first started producing strollers with the Explorer, and it's difficult to explain how much of a difference this element actually makes for everyday use. To have your child higher up so you can adjust any problems they might have easily and on the go. And the accessibility of the shopping basket, even when using the bassinet I might add, which is not common, is of course a direct effect of this high positioning, making the Trails a perfect vehicle for making your way through the day without a car, due to so much packing space. When it comes to the mechanics of the Trails, I'd like to start by pointing out that even though it doesn't have the same off-road ability as the NXT 90, it's by no means weak in this respect. Stokke is great at building with simple sturdiness in mind, and the Trails has strong, thick bars and well thought out mechanisms, with a minimum of moving components. As far as driving is concerned, the Trails sports a single, solid, centrally located suspension unit in the rear, great for going over uneven terrain, as it allows the section of the rear frame holding the wheels to pivot side to side as needed. While in the front, the housing for its 10-inch front wheels are protected against wear by thick, spring-loaded suspension pads. Together, and along with the weight and size of the model, these elements mean that the Trails will really be able to tackle just about any terrain you need it to as you move through your day. As far as which life conditions are optimal for use with the Trails, I would say that the model is a bit more well-rounded than the NXT 90. The trails will still work well if you live in rural conditions, though over time it will wear down faster if it's used almost entirely off-road, but it will also be a bit more comfortable under smoother conditions, as well as being a bit lighter to pack in or out of a car or for those times when you have to carry it. In addition, the combination of its carrying capacity and terrain capability make the Trails the best of the three models we'll be covering today for use as an all-day base of operations when you're moving around in the world without a car. The last model we wanted to cover today is the Baby Jogger City Elite 2, which is the odd duck of this comparison, representing a truth that I've been trying to get out there for a long time, that in most ways when you're looking for terrain capability out of a daily use stroller, you'll generally get way more out of a three-wheel model than a four-wheel model. Like many three-wheeler manufacturers, the roots of Baby Jogger's designs lie in producing rugged off-road sporting models, but in the early 2000s, they started launching models with swivel front wheels for easier maneuverability in urban environments. There are a lot of great three-wheeled models out there, but the Elite stands out above the rest for daily use in my opinion, and it will not only handle terrain better than both the Trails and the NXT 90, but is also lighter and folds both smaller and more easily as well. Three-wheelers are not for everyone, of course, and you lose a couple of things in relation to a lot of four-wheeled models, but what you gain in exchange has always been worth the trade in my opinion. What you lose, first and foremost, is the reverse seating option. The Elite seat is suspended directly from the handle arms, and thus faces forward only. Note that you can still fit a bassinet for newborns to the chassis, as well as a car seat for use up until 8 to 9 months or so, depending on the size of your child. The second thing that you lose is shopping basket space and accessibility, which is a direct effect of the suspended seat, especially in the reclined position. What you gain from this design, though, is the following. Since the seat is suspended directly from the chassis, it is, by the very nature of its design, a lot larger than with reversible seat models. This doesn't matter as much in the beginning of your stroller use, but about halfway through, when your kid is 2.5 or 3, the Elite will have your kid still sitting in spacious comfort, while even the largest reversible seat model will eventually begin to look a little cramped. Secondly, since the seat is only suspended fabrics, a great deal of weight and mechanical complexity, which over time also means potential breaking points, are removed along with not only the seat frame itself, but the connection points for it on the chassis. This makes the stroller lighter, folds smaller, and also allows a much higher percentage of the overall space and weight economy to go to structural integrity and drivability through thicker bars and stronger mechanisms, bigger and better suspension, and larger wheels, especially in the front, where it counts most for terrain. This is why I said that, even with as heavy duty as the NXT 90 is, it can't hold a candle to the City Elite for off-road ability. No four-wheeler can. The result of the reduced weight and folded size means that the Elite 2 will actually fit a wider variety of lifestyles than the Trails and the NXT 90, and the much easier one-step fold and further increased terrain ability are also great. To me, this means that if the lack of a reverse seating option and reduced carrying capacity in the basket aren't deal breakers for you, then the Elite should probably be considered first for most people, if off-road capability is the main quality you're looking for. So these are our top 3 picks for a daily use stroller, if you're looking for something that can actually tackle a bit of terrain. Virtually all strollers launched these days make all sorts of claims to their suspension and terrain capability, but in our experience, very few of those toting such claims are actually really capable of handling anything more than lawns and maybe a little bit of gravel. The models that we mentioned today are different. They will actually work if going off-road is a regular part of your lifestyle. Note that there are trade-offs for this, however. With the exception of the Elite, all of these strollers are both larger and heavier than average, and including the Elite, all 3 are priced at the high end of the market. But as long as you actually need a good terrain model for daily use and tend to use your stroller without a car for long periods, they will be well worth the money. Lastly, note that with driving over rough terrain, maintenance becomes even more important than it might be otherwise, and your stroller should be lubricated and tightened regularly, and the tires kept pumped and swapped if needed. Additionally, we have standalone reviews for all of the models mentioned in this video, and links to them have been added in the description. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. We need your help. Like most of the economy, our channel has been hit pretty hard by the current crisis, and though we're doing our best to keep everything chugging along, times are tough. If you would like to help us out, there are a couple things you can do. Firstly, if you're using ad blocker, we would really appreciate it if you could turn it off every once in a while. In case you didn't know, as annoying as they are, ads fund all YouTube content, and in times like these, I'm pretty sure all the channels you enjoy and make use of could really use the extra revenue. Secondly, we have a Patreon page, and if you have the ability, signing up to donate even just $1 or $2 a month would really do a lot for us. In any case, thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the video.